David Smith here with yet one more flipped classroom math video. Today's topic, quadratic solutions by factoring. Today we're going to go through more complicated examples of this process, review a few of the factoring methods, and see if that helps you with these types of problems. Let's get started. Take a look at that problem. Notice how we have a coefficient on the x squared, so that should be your prompt that we're most likely going to split the middle term on this problem. Because indeed, you can't factor a 5 out of these two terms. So we're stuck with that quadratic. If you want to try this before I explain it, pause the video. Okay, let's do it. The AC is 5 times minus 6. So AC equals negative 30. Now we need two factors of negative 30 that add up to negative 13. What are those factors? How about positive 2 and negative 15? 2 times negative 15 is negative 30, and 2 plus negative 15 is negative 13. So those are our two factors. Let's go ahead and split. 5x squared minus 15x plus 2x minus 6 equals 0. Now I'm going to factor the GCF out of here, and let's see what we get. I've got a 5x in both those terms, so this becomes 5x times x minus 3. And then I've got a 2 in both those terms, so this becomes 2 times x minus 3, all equal to 0. And now we have our check. We know that we did this right because I have x minus 3 in both spots. The last step here for the factoring is x plus 5x plus 2 plus, or times x minus 3 equal 0. Okay? So now we do our branch. I've got two little equations to solve. 5x plus 2 equals 0, minus 2. 5x equals negative 2. X equals negative 2 over 5. There's one solution right there. This one's pretty straightforward. X minus 3 equals 0, so x is going to equal 3. Okay, here's one for you to try. 2x squared minus 3x minus 5 equals 0. Pause the video, give it a shot. Okay, let's see how you did. Again, a split the middle term. We have a coefficient on the x squared term, and we can't factor that out of the other two, so we're stuck with it. Our AC equals minus 10. I need two numbers that multiply to negative 10 that add to negative 3. That's going to be negative 5 times 2, and negative 5 plus 2. So there we go. So let's go ahead and split our middle term. 2x squared, I'm going to do plus 2x minus 3x, minus 5x. Let's get that right, David. Minus 5 equal to 0. Out of here I got a 2x as my GCF. That becomes x plus 1 minus, and I have a 5 in there. And that also becomes x plus 1. Now notice, I'm factoring a negative 5 out of both of these, negative 5. So that's why this sign changed to positive. If you left it as negative, then you'd be stuck at the next step because you'd have x plus 1 and x minus 1. This is tricky to get that right. I see students get hung up on that fairly frequently. Okay, let's finish her off. This is 2x minus 5 times x plus 1. Branch. 2x minus 5 equals 0. This is going to give us 2x equals 5, x equals 5 over 2. And then this one is just going to give us x equals minus 1. Okay? Okay, let's do a little bit more of a complicated problem. Sometimes they'll give you something that doesn't look like anything that's factorable, and you have to do a little bit of expanding, combining like terms, getting everything over to one side. And then suddenly, it's factorable. So let's do this one. If I look at that, I'm like, how do you factor that? In fact, this little phrase here is factored, but it's hard to combine it with all these other terms. So we're going to have to expand first here. I'm going to get x squared plus x. That's doing my distributive property on these parentheses. And then I have a plus 2x equals 3 plus x. Now I have like terms, so let's just do another step here. X squared plus 3x equals 3 plus x. Now I need to subtract both of these to move them over, set this side equal to 0. So I'm going to get x squared, 3x minus x is going to be plus 2x, and then minus 3 equals 0. So I'm going a little bit faster with my equation solving. So if I'm losing you, pause the video, make sure you see what's going on. This course does assume that you have prior knowledge in terms of manipulating equations like I'm doing there. Okay, so now I don't have a coefficient. Well, I have 1, but there's no 2 or 7 or a bigger number there. So that means I probably don't have to split the middle term. This would be a product sum type. What two numbers multiply to negative 3 and add to positive 2? X plus 3 times x minus 1 equals 0. These guys multiply to negative 3, they add to positive 2. So now you can see the solution's coming pretty quick here. This one's going to be x equals minus 3, that's one solution. And this is going to be x equals 1, that's the second solution. Okay, let's give you one to try. Here it is, 3x times parentheses x plus 2 minus 5 times parentheses x minus 3, all equal to 17. So do some expanding, do some collecting of like terms, and then factor in the best way that you can. Pause the video. Okay, let's see how you did. 3x times x, 3x squared plus 6x, doing my distributive property, minus 5x. Now pay attention to your signs. It's minus 5 times minus 3. That becomes plus 15 equals 17. Combine our like terms. I have 3x squared plus x. 6x minus 5x is just 1x. Plus 15 equals 17. Subtract the 17 over to this side. 3x squared plus x minus 2 equals 0. So now I have a split the middle term again. I'm doing this on purpose because that's the most tricky factoring method for students to master. I have a coefficient on my x squared term, so I'm going to look for my AC. AC equals negative 6. I need two factors of negative 6 that add up to 1. So how do I do that? I would do negative 2 times 3, that's negative 6. Negative 2 plus 3 equals 1. So it's negative 2 and 3. So let's do it this way. 3x squared plus 3x minus 2x minus 2 equals 0. Now factor the GCF out of both pairs. I get 3x times x plus 1. Factor the negative 2 out of both those. So I get minus 2 times x plus 1. Remember, like that last problem, I'm factoring a negative 2 out, so this goes positive. All equal to 0. Finish up the factoring. I get 3x minus 2 times x plus 1 equals 0. Okay? So now I'm ready to branch and solve. This becomes 3x minus 2 equals 0. 3x equals 2. X equals 2/3. It's my first solution. This one's pretty simple. We're just going to do x equals negative 1. Okay, one more problem type. This one, if you know how to do it, it's actually not so bad. But if you've never seen these or you forget how to do them, it gets a little hard, okay? I've got one fraction equal to another fraction. Quickest way, or my tried and true method, is to start just by cross multiplying. So you always, when you have two fractions that are equal to each other, you can cross multiply. So that means this times that is equal to this times that. Okay, so let's do it. X minus 2 times 2 is going to give us 2x minus 4. I'm doing my distributive property, 2 times each of those terms. And then x, put my equals, x times 6 is 6x plus x times x is x squared. So now we have a problem that looks kind of familiar. You should be able to take this the rest of the way. If you want to do that, pause the video. Okay, let's see how it went. I'm going to move everything over to that side because I like my squared term to be positive. You could do it the other way, but then you're going to want to multiply by -1. So let's do that. I'm going to subtract 2x from each side, and I'm going to add 4. So I have 0 equals x squared. Subtract the 2x gives me plus 4x. Add the 4 gives me plus 4. Okay? So now, no coefficient on x, don't need to split the middle term. Two numbers that add to 4 and multiply to 4. That's super simple. That's just 2. So now I'm going to get x squared, or 0 equals x plus 2 times x plus 2. And we know we could simplify this even further. That's x plus 2 squared. So now we have one equation to solve, just x plus 2 squared, so equal to 0. Take the square root of both sides. Okay, 0, square root of 0 is also just 0. So now we get 0 equals x plus 2. Subtract 2 from each side, and you get -2 equals x. So this one is one of the one-solution quadratic equations. Okay, here's one for you to try. X plus 4 over 2 equals 6 over x. Remember to start this one by cross-multiplying. Okay, let's see how you did. I'm going to cross-multiply the 2 times 6, and I'm going to get 12 equals x times x is x squared, and x times 4 is 4x. Subtract the 12 from both sides. 0 equals x squared plus 4x plus 12. Okay? This is a fairly straightforward product sum factoring. Two numbers that multiply to 12 that add to 4. What do you think they are? Aha! If you haven't seen my mistake, pause the video and see if you could figure it out. Okay, let's see how you did. I moved the 12 over to this side, but I kept it positive. That's not correct. It's negative. Okay? So I'm not going to edit this out of the video because you need to be able to catch mistakes. Your teachers also make mistakes from time to time. We're just human beings like you. So I went too fast and I didn't think. Got to subtract the 12 from both sides. So that makes that -12. So now I can factor this one. Two numbers that multiply to -12 that add to positive 4. That's positive 6 and -2. So I get 0 equals x minus 2 times x plus 6, like so. This one becomes x equals 2, and this is x equals -6. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and click the like button down below or subscribe.